What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. Welcome back to another episode of Crossing the Finish Line. I'm your host, as always, Cody Kaler. We have a returning guest today, Justin Johnson. Justin is the VP of Logistics and Warehousing at Associated Food Stores, who was on our show last year, I believe, towards the tail end of last year, talking about how Associated Foods is on the front lines of the automation revolution. And this is a lot different than some of the other automation that we talk about. We have guests on all the time talking about automation when it comes to, back office support, track and trace, stuff like that. But this is actual fully automated warehousing. It's a really cool project. Justin and I have been friends for a long time. When he had mentioned to me what they were doing over there, I knew I had to have him on and just go through what those guys are doing, because I feel like it's pretty cutting edge compared to what I was used to when I was in a warehouse environment, and then what I see out there. So let's go ahead and bring Justin on. He can talk a little bit more to this than I can. Justin, what's up, buddy?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me back on.
Yeah, my mic is giving me some weird thing. Can you guys hear me all right?
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, it's giving me some weird lights over here. Anyways, so Justin, congratulations on the promotion, by the way, buddy.
Thanks, man. Excited for the opportunity.
Yeah. So Justin, for those of you who didn't catch the episode that we had last year, Justin's the VP of Warehousing and Logistics for Associated. What are you guys, 1.2 million, 3 square foot warehouse in Utah?
1.25 million square feet. Supply all 480 retail locations out of this one DC, going to, I think, 10 different states now. So
damn,
big operation.
From what I remember, it's the largest food and bev DC west of the Mississippi, right?
Yep, as far as I know. I don't think that's changed.
Yeah. So that's a big thing when we're talking food and bev and who you guys are running up against. So I'm going to do a terrible job of explaining, even though I worked there for 12 years, I'm going to do a terrible job of explaining the history of AFS and what you guys do. So I'll turn that over to you now and, kind of give the audience a heads up of what you guys do. Audience is national. You guys are more regionally specific, right? So kind of give everybody the lowdown of what AFS is.
Sure. So Associated's been around for 85 years. Our headquarters are in Salt Lake, and our warehouse is 40 miles north of Salt Lake in the Ogden area. We are a wholesaler that supplies to members. We're a co-op. We have now 480 stores, which is our all-time high mark for stores. Nice. And really what we do is we empower independent grocers to compete with the big boys. So they combine their buying power, their purchasing power. We source that product, store it, send it out to them. And besides warehousing, we offer a lot of different programs that keep them competitive. Anything from accounting to technology to marketing, all major things a grocery store needs to be competitive. Associated's really a one-stop shop for independent retailers.
Awesome. And you guys also have corporate owned stores as well, right?
Yeah, we have 37 corporate stores. They're all located in Utah. Macy's, Fresh Market, Lynn's down in southern Utah, and then Dan's and Dick's, which are right in the Salt Lake area.
Nice. Yeah. So if any of you guys who, I know that there's a lot of people who are delivering into Utah or driving through Utah. If you're shopping at a non-big box store, you're most likely shopping at a store that is serviced by Associated. My favorite was always Harmon's. That's where I usually shopped when I lived up there. But good stuff. I mean, Associated is a very solid company. They've been around for over 100 years, like Justin had mentioned. And if you guys don't work with them, don't hit Justin up, because he's probably going to ignore you. He's he's not the contact for you guys for freight. Just heads up. But good thing about Justin is you literally cut your teeth throwing cases, right? Like, everything soup to nuts. You've done pretty much everything, but I don't know if you've been behind the wheel there, but pretty much everything besides actually driving truck you've done and led, right?
Yeah. Started 13 years ago as an order selector, did that for a little over a year, and then got first leadership opportunity, basically training order selectors, and then from there it seems like every year or two a different opportunity, different different learning experience. They tried to teach me how to drive the yard trucks, and they gave up after like 2 weeks because I couldn't back a pup up. I'm pretty uncoordinated.
Good. That makes me feel better too, because I remember my first assignment with the yard too, and I scraped up a truck, and I was like, "Yeah, not doing this again. Sorry."
Very similar experience.
Yeah, and I got a 40-foot fifth wheel, and I still can't back the damn thing up. That's just, some people can do it, and some people can't.
Right.
So now that everybody kind of gets the lowdown of what you guys are, what you guys do up there, kind of walk me through. So Symbotic is the company that you guys have partnered up with to do all of your automation. And this is like real, true automation. You guys have actual robots that are picking cases, not just dictating where things are going. This isn't like Chat GPT AI type shit, guys. Like, this is real AI powered actual labor, right?
Yeah. I mean, this is as automated as you could possibly get, really. So we stick our inbound pallets into the system. They're stored in the system. AI sorts them and decides where they're stored. And then as our stores place our orders with us, we are actually pulling their store map. So their planograms, every store has a map of their locations, and we're building the pallets specifically to that store, that individual store's maps. And it's robotic carts that are going and getting those cases that are stored, and then robotic arms that are palletizing, and out comes a finished product much better than the best order selector could do.
That's crazy. So when I started way back in the day at 18 years old, which is 23 years ago, I was at Walmart, and my very first job there was actually like throwing cases and stocking shelves and shit. And the worst part was you would get a pallet and you would have to run down 8 different aisles. There'd be 2 cases on this aisle and 3 cases on this aisle. Sometimes you'd have to double back because what was on the bottom was supposed to be on the first aisle that you started. And it was such a waste of labor. So that is so cool that it actually understands, like, top to bottom. I'm going to start unloading my pallet on this area, and cases are going to come off, and they're able to just save all that labor and footprint. That's really cool. I mean, it's so cool to see where things have gone. I did watch Terminator 2 a few too many times when I was a child. So, every time I see this stuff, I'm like, oh shit, Sarah Connor's rolling over in a grave now.
There's been some jokes amongst the warehouse team, definitely.
This is the start of it. We've all seen it, but no, it's really cool. So Symbotic as a company, you probably know more about it than I do. Maybe kind of give a lowdown with the audience on how you guys found them, how you guys came to partner with them, really what they do and what they offer. Yeah.
I'll start off by saying I couldn't ask for a better partner. They've been great to work with. A little history. So in 2022, so rolling out of COVID time and how that disrupted the grocery industry, our board asked us to start proofing out automation, see what it will look like in the warehouse. What would the impact be? At that point, we reached out to all the main providers that are in the space. There's a handful of them, really, and started what I call a soft RFP process. So basically, discovery process, learning about them, learning what it would look like in our world. And pretty early on, as we reached out to Symbotic, we felt like it was going to be a good fit. They come from the grocery industry, which is unique. So they started in C&S Wholesalers. The CEO, Rick Cohen, started Symbotic after attempting to automate a couple of his facilities using some of those other providers and not having success. So he found a startup, invested in it, eventually became the owner, proofed it out in his facilities. And then maybe a decade ago, I don't know exactly how long ago, he started partnering with Walmart and, using their experience, their investment in R&D. The company really grew and got to the point where it was ready for the masses. And that's we were one of the first movers to reach out to them. And I think we're actually the only independent wholesaler that uses them. But during that process, the RFP process, the discovery, a couple things stood out. They come from the grocery industry. Their sales team, their implementation team has grocery experience, so they spoke our language, understand our challenges and what we needed to be successful. And then what's really unique about Symbotic is they can build it in phases. And so everyone else we looked at, we would have to add on to the building, build a new building somewhere to really fit that automation into, make that automation work. For Symbotic, we're building it in phases. So we have our first phase built. We built it in our existing warehouse. They're an expert at that. They've done that with at their own sites and with some of their partners. And now we're just starting to build a phase 2. So that was a huge factor.
Awesome. Yeah, Rick's a great guy too. Rick, super intelligent individual. I'm still trying to get him on the show. So if you're watching, Rick, I doubt you are today, but I'm still hitting you up, buddy. Get on the show. I'd love to talk to you. So yeah, Rick's a great guy. I mean, that guy, he's one of the major mover and shakers in this industry. So
he's
not shocked.
Culture. I've only been on one call with him, but I can speak to his staff and the commitment they have to their I think it's exceedingly happy customers, I think is their line, and I'm a happy customer.
Love to hear it. And so 2002. So I'm assuming you guys were probably in the same boat as everybody else, like through COVID and everything about labor issues.
Yeah.
Labor issues were a major thing for everybody from just basic, even food service workers all the way up to, I can only imagine how bad it was for you guys, because not only did COVID make it difficult to find labor, a lot of people didn't want to leave their home. They were scared and all this stuff. But I'm assuming you guys saw a massive increase in sales, just like everybody else during COVID, food wise. So you have like that double decker of, I can't find labor, and on top of that, my sales is going through the roof. So
and that was really what sparked the conversation. Historically, even before COVID, we would be right around 100% turnover in the selection job. You lose 10 guys a week. Yeah, it's a tough job. Stacking groceries, they call it C pallets because it's a mixture of 150 different SKUs you're trying to stack together. So as you're driving through a pallet jack, lifting 30,000 pounds a day, so it's a tough job. It's usually, and in our case it's really heavily laden in incentive pay, and so some guys it's the right job for them, but for others, within months or weeks they realize it's a tough job. So we really projected forward, thinking about our 10-year growth strategy. How do we create the infrastructure to support that growth? When you're constantly turning over team members, it's hard to look your executive staff or your board in the eye and say, we're going to be successful 10 years from now. And so one of them was to solve the labor problem, and it solves a big chunk of our problem. It also adds capacity and throughput by about 30% on both those marks within our existing building. So it lets our team know that, we're going to be here for the next 3 decades at least. It's that type of investment for us.
Nice. And so throughput, you're talking actual cases moved, right?
Actual cases. Yeah. So it gives us a lot of ability to grow within these 4 walls without having to invest in a different DC or add on to the building.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, Utah's one of the fastest growing states in the nation too. So, you guys are, I would assume anyways, you guys are going to see substantial growth.
We've
the next few years.
Even in this tougher market, we're still seeing some growth and had a good Q1. But when we look out the next decade, like you mentioned, there's an influx of people moving from the West Coast to Idaho, Utah, some of the other states we service. And so we think there's a lot of opportunity.
Yeah. Everybody wants to get out of California because can't afford it.
Right.
It's same here in Arizona, man. Unfortunately, then it drives up our costs, which it is what it is. But so cool. Well, we do have a couple videos to show that I'm super excited to look at. If you want to narrate through. So first one we're going to show is going to be the actual walkthrough for everything. And then the second one's going to be something, a video that you want to narrate, or you can narrate through and kind of show the details of how everything's working. I'm assuming this is going to start from day one of operation, or is day one from building?
Yeah. So this first video is, it's our condensed version of our grand opening, which we did on the first full week of production, and we're on week 12 right now. So you'll see a little ceremony, but you'll see us walking through, looking at the system. It's some of our executive team, our board members, some media outlets walking through, and it kind of puts into scope the project. And then the second one's a 24-hour time lapse, which I'll kind of explain how the system's working.
Awesome. Let's start with that first video.
So Project ROAR stands for Revolutionizing Our AFS Resources. 4 years ago, we set out on a mission to modernize our building, our warehouse processes. And the two most important things we have, our team members' experience at work and the product that we offer our retailers. We all work together, we can accomplish amazing things. And right here, you're seeing phase one of something that's going to be amazing for our company for years to come. This is a big collaborative effort, and I am so proud of our warehouse team and our technology team and their teamwork in getting us here.
It's just amazing to see the innovation, the passion, and just the can-do attitude of our Far West team. And I couldn't be more proud.
I am especially excited to partner with a customer like AFS, where the culture here feels truly like a family. As I look around, I see long-term associates and multi-generational family members working together towards a common goal. And that goal is to allow AFS to be the leading provider of groceries, goods, and services to its independent retailers across the Intermountain region.
At the end of the day, if Associate is not successful in the future, there's no Ridley's, there's no Lee's, right? There's no Stewart's, there's no Miners. We depend on each other, and we can do whatever we can do at retail, but if we're not progressing, we're not successful at Associated, it's all for naught. Everything that I work for, everything that my team works for, everything my parents have worked for, and so many others, right? So many of us are in third generation, fourth generation family businesses, and if Associate is not here and is not successful, it doesn't mean anything. But the support for this project, as big as it was unanimous from the board.
This is an awesome experience. We're able to see the robots at work. We're able to see how the pallets get inbound and outbound, how the robot's going to help be more efficient. It's been an awesome experience to see how it all comes together.
Well, I'm looking at it maybe of a selfish thing, because I'm thinking of those pallets when they come to our store, how square they are. You know, we don't have anything on the bottom that's getting smashed.
We talk about the efficiencies here at the warehouse, and they're going to be numerous, and it's awesome to see how much freight's going to be saved, and the people, the labor, all of those things. But yeah, from that retail standpoint, to see from when the pallet gets to the store, we can take it right out to the aisle, not have to downstack it and take all that time. It's been awesome to see, again, just the camaraderie and the ability that these people have to work together and make it work. And still, you know, the machine doesn't stop running. You still have to send cases out to all the stores, and you know, it's an impressive feat that they've done.
It has been an amazing journey with this AFS team. The culture here has been just very collaborative, very passionate. And with phase two, we're going to have an additional inbound cell and 2 additional outbound cells. I'm so excited what this project is going to do for the AFS community and for your retailer partners.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's great. Seeing a lot of familiar faces there too.
Yeah, I was smiling because I was putting myself in your shoes. A lot of familiar faces for sure, and it really shows you. So everyone on camera was essentially an executive team member or a store owner, a board member, and then a Symbotic representative, and it really shows the support we've had for this project and really what it means to AFS. You know, because we have one DC, the collaboration and the logistical challenges we've had to keep operations running. Like our one goal has been, don't let our stores know that we're under construction, but we have a huge hole in our facility. And so to see their support, to have their support, and to accomplish that goal has been something that we're really proud of.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's crazy to see exactly where you guys are, versus 10 years ago. It's crazy. Just the industry in general, right? And you guys being on the front lines of that. It's for being a regional company, you guys really are on the front lines. You guys are competing with the Walmarts and the Targets and the CNSs of the world. So really cool. Kudos to you and your team, buddy. I mean, it's really cool to see what you guys are doing.
Thanks,
so,
man.
Next video is going to be actual seeing our Terminators in action here.
Yeah.
So
There you go. And
I'm excited.
I'll do my best to bring us along and show you what's happening.
Awesome.
So this is a 24-hour time lapse from just last week, I believe. And we run the system about 20 hours. So what you're seeing right now is a pallet coming in from the vendor. Our forklift team puts it in on this conveyor belt, and then we're picking a layer off at a time and sending it through this conveyor system that then goes to the storage structure. The storage structure is very similar. We'll see when we get there. Very similar to your conventional warehousing. And then on the outbound side, you can see we're building pallets up on this mezzanine for our retailers. And so their orders come in. Cool. They send in, let's say, 1,000 cases, and that we break up into pallets of 100 to 200 cases. And the system, the two arms are just going back and forth, not nonstop building the pallets, and out they go to our trucks. And we have 5 team members at all times kind of manning the system. And the other thing we're really proud of is we didn't outsource for that. So we sent we converted people that have been driving forklifts, picking cases, sent them through a 3-month training process with Symbotic, and now they're, they've changed the course of their career and their life, really, from being a laborer to stepping into technology. So we're really proud of those guys and excited for those guys.
That's awesome. That's so cool. It's just, yeah. I mean, I just remember like actually throwing cases myself and hating the majority of that time, right? Because it's you're playing Tetris all day long, but you're throwing a lot of weight, and it's like it's just hour at a time, same thing, right? Driving up and down these aisles on your pallet jack, throwing cases, and you find ways to make it fun, but like you and I are cut from the same mold when it comes to that. Like, for people like us, you can just put your head down and you can make a competition. You can figure out how to make it beneficial for you. But there's, the labor market's changed. There's a lot of difference in what people want today, especially these newer, your 18, 19, 20-year-olds versus us, 15 years ago when we were doing this stuff. And it's cool to see that you guys are getting ahead of this, because times are changing. And if people, if your competition's not getting on board with understanding that you either got to make it easier or funner, and there's nothing fun about throwing cases. There's nothing fun about warehouse working. Everybody knows that, right? So
it's a tough job, like, right? Mm-hmm. Like life is more convenient because of this, right?
Yeah.
So we need our workforce, their expectations have changed, and so this is our first step in kind of creating a different career path. We have our conventional, but basically we've always had 2 career paths. If you came through the DC, you could be a truck driver, which is a great career. Mm-hmm. Working for AFS, transportation is a good career. Or if you're one of the select few, you can become a leader. That's not an easy path by any means, but now we have, a career path for a different demographic, right?
That's awesome.
So very excited.
There's too many kids out there making, $1 million a year opening up toys and shit on YouTube that, the last thing anybody's thinking in high school is I'm going to go throw cases and hop on a forklift. And, but you guys actually, especially from the transportation standpoint, like you guys are one of the top payers, as well as top quality of life. And I know that directly because I used to do bids and everything else with you guys. And,
totally.
Compared to a lot of the other companies that we work with, or a lot of companies that are out there. So, anybody who's listening that, is owner op that ever wants to get a job with you guys, I can definitely hook you up. But, I would recommend, especially from the transportation standpoint, AFS is a great company to work for. So just in general, AFS, the tenure that you guys have there speaks volumes of the culture and everything. So what's on the horizon for you guys? Are you even, maybe it's too early in the process to even think about, like, you guys think about automation when it comes to transportation? You looking at Tesla trucks yet or anything?
We've looked a little bit at it. As you know, we're unique where we carry supersets over mountain passes. And so when you think of like electronic vehicles and potentially where the industry's headed, it's almost like I'm going to need two different models, one along the greater Salt Lake area, the Wasatch Front, and another one for over the road. So we're learning on that. From a warehousing perspective, we're going to be replacing our WMS as soon as this project's done, which is another huge heavy lift. And then we're we've created in our dry warehouse, that I should have said this automation only is for our dry product, your product that doesn't need to be refrigerated. So now we need to develop a plan for our perishable side so we can match that growth opportunity. And so we have a couple of different models out there, whether it's some expansion, automation, we're basically building a 30-year plan.
So you guys are going to do something similar over on the wet side, huh?
We're either going to automate or just extend our aisles and add, if you can think of the backside of perishables, add a receiving dock so it's more flow through and gives us capacity, even if it's conventional capacity.
Nice. Is Symbotic doing it for temperature controlled with other warehouses?
Yeah, they've been testing with Walmart, and I think they're going live with a HEB here shortly.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. So they're
That's
getting
crazy.
there. It adds complexity because you have multiple temperature zones within perishables, and you have bananas and chicken and these different foods that have to be separated and food safety, and so it's more complex. And so seeing if there's an ROI for us is something we're investigating.
I don't think it'd break anybody's heart to never have to run frozen again. I can tell you that. I hated that area. Yeah. As soon as you walk in, you just take that first breath of air and you're like, yeah, this is going to be a long day.
Right.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I really appreciate it, Justin, as always, man. Great friend. You guys are doing great things up there. I'm really, really excited to see where you guys are going. It's awesome to see. And you guys are literally on the forefront. I mean, we work with so many retailers, and seeing where you guys are at, compared to the competition is really, really cool. Warms my heart, makes me happy to see you guys kicking ass and taking names up there. But really appreciate you. What's the best way for anybody to reach you if they want to, if they have any questions? There's a lot of my customers that watch the show as well that, they're in the same space as you are. So if they got questions, is it, LinkedIn the easiest?
Yeah, I think LinkedIn's the easiest. Message me, and I do my best to get back to people for sure. Awesome. Well, appreciate it, buddy. I'm sure that we'll have you on again after you guys are making some more improvements over there, and love to see what you guys are doing. So everybody out there, thanks for joining us for another episode. I will see you guys in a couple weeks. Yeah. Thanks for having me. And Cody, next time you're in town, let me know and we'll go walk the system and grab a bite. Absolutely.